Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Amrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya.
All right, I have to unmute you. I have to unmute you. Rachel and Jupiter here. Hello, Jupiter.
She's so happy to be
She's so, I know. I can hear how happy she is. I can feel it. Hello, beautiful girl. I know, I feel the same way. It's so good to see you. Oh, the joy, right? The joy. All right, I'm going to start with a couple reflections, and then I'm sure Rachel and I are going to dive into some juicy topics. So I'm going to mute you for just a few. Bye, Jupe. Okay. So technology is once again doing its thing. I think everybody I've been talking to is saying that Mercury is just messing with them right now. And I have the new laptop set up, and I believe it's all working. And sometimes these crazy messages pop up. So we are going to roll with whatever happens and see what is here. It's interesting. My thought this morning when I woke up was, we are talking about body because my body hurts and I've had a cold and I was whiny, and I'm like, it's going to be all about body. And, you know, then Rachel said, I'm going to be on tonight. I'm like, of course it's about body. Like, this is what we spend a lot of our conversations talking about. And then, the day was just a beautiful day. I went to pick my daughter up from college. She's home for a month. She's upstairs. It's so good to have her home. I saw my friend Sally, who did a stretch. She's doing these beautiful, like, stretches. I don't know how else to explain it. And so my body felt like it expanded and stretched, and energy was moving again. And I came home, and I was sitting with like what is moving, and what is it that, you know, wants to be talked about tonight. And I sat down and did a Deepak meditation about perfect health, and it was so beautiful. His words, the mantra, the centering thought was, I am absolute existence. I am absolute existence. And when I know that and I hold that as my truth, then the permanence of me goes beyond the body, right? When I'm absolute existence, then this body is just this temporary thing that I come in and I live in, and then I go back and I'm absolute existence again. And his belief, which I completely agree with, is that when we can tap into that centered, permanent consciousness inside of ourselves and feel its infinite capacity, then we can overcome whatever the body might be trying to mess with us about, or, you know, where there are places where we feel blocked. When we can come and tap back into that, knowing that our bodies are just representing or holding this infinite existence that's inside of us, then the body is just teaching us lessons and, you know, bringing us things to explore, and then we move on. And so I sat in the space of stillness with the music and the mantra, you know, saying the mantra over and over, and just landing back here at home after being on the go all day. And what I felt was this, you know, we talk about this often in meditation, when we are still, when we can get really quiet and clear, that we're able to feel how we're part of this one energy field, this one infinite wisdom. And that's what people crave. It's like when a person loves to run and they get what they call runner's high. You're in that zone, you know, you're in that sweet, beautiful space of the body and the mind and the spirit in this incredible harmony. And it feels like an endorphin high. You know, in meditation, we can access that same buzz, or buzz sounds like you want to chase it. And I don't mean it that way. It's just the most pure, calm knowing that we are absolute existence right here in this moment, and everyone else is too. And if we could just remember that, you know, if we could just touch that and feel it and bring it into our bodies, then there's just this healing and expanding and love just creating more and more and more. And so I I felt that in the meditation, you know, it was just such a beautiful moment. And then I was sitting there and I kept thinking, you know, it's this 12-12 gateway, and why am I going to talk about body when this 12-12 number is, you know, getting a lot of attention today in social media. On the 11-11 portal, or the 11-11 date, November 11th, I met Alicia Mathewson, and she came here, and we had this beautiful concert and activation at my home, and we talked about numbers and the power, the significance, you know, of those multiple matching digits, and how there's a spiritual foundation of energy that comes underneath those dates. You know, there's this wellspring of extra love and fun and play and energy that like lights up those specific dates. And I felt that here November 11th, and I feel that it's more gentle today. It feels much more like 12-12 is like hugging us, you know, hugging us tight and wrapping up this year, you know, bringing to this beautiful close all the amazing events that have unfolded and expanded for us this year. And in this hugging and gathering, you know, of all energies coming together, the opportunity is for all humans to come together, all beings, all souls, you know, everyone to just arrive in that field of we are all connected, you know, and then gently move into this new year and create whatever we want to create in 2018. So it feels like the conversation is going to weave between body and gateway and cosmos and existence. And of course, I have Rachel. So, like it or not, you're being unmuted. You didn't raise your hand, but guess what? I'm coming in.
Here we go.
And I'm going to switch it to this other speaker. So hold on. So yeah, so it's going to show you. Hi, baby. Yeah, and Jupiter is like the most incredible being. So, I know, honey. I know. So I love that she's bringing her wisdom forward. She always adds in, when you and I are leaving messages for each other, she always adds in with her extra like giggle or pop, you know? Yeah, so there you go. There's a whole bunch that we can play with. Where do you want to go?
Where do I want to go? I guess what I was thinking about while you were talking was just how, like, there can be that when we're sitting in that pure existence, connected to everything, then it can be back to, like, it can be shocking to be human again. And so that's what I was thinking about. I was like, oh yeah, and then we have these bodies, and I think of like my journey, and I think it's similar to most people's journey of having this like, what do I do with this, or this kind of love-hate relationship with our bodies in general and our humanness in general. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking about.
I know. And I was thinking of the contrast of this morning. I literally hardly slept last night because it was like one sinus was blocked and then the other, and then I would cough, and then, right. And you know, when you can't get comfortable all night. And so I woke up this morning, like hating my body, going, you're failing me. Clear up. I've been drinking water. Why aren't you doing what you need to do? Right. And it's like this push-pull between loving the body because it allows us to create and live and function. And then it's so slow and it's so dense and it doesn't function right.
Right. Right. Yeah. So much of mine ends up coming back around to these places of learning to feel in my body, but then also as I've learned to feel more, like I remember when we first met, feeling so disconnected from the emotions moving through my body. And as I've gotten more comfortable in that and able to name it and talk about it, then I'm like, next level is like, people think I'm crazy. Whenever I tell them all the things that I'm feeling, I'm like, no, I think we're all feeling this. I'm just putting it into words.
I know, because so many times when we're leaving messages, we Voxer, and so we leave these messages, and I know you're leaving me one, and you're like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I just felt that. Do you feel that? Yeah, and you know, when I was thinking about the body this morning, because I had 2 hours to drive to Columbus to get Callie, and so I was just reflecting, like, what would I even say if I was going to talk about the body? You know, what would I say? And what I would say is we're pulling towards us what we need to heal, and so we see it in other people, right? And so everyone around us is reflecting the places that we need to work on. And the way I've learned to master this the best is I'll give someone else advice. I'm so good at that, right? My one friend just told me, you're so bossy when you coach. And I'll say, like, you need to drink like 15 glasses of water, and then you need to do this and you need to do that. And what I've learned is, like, everything I say to other people, if I would do that, I'd be great.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure. I've decided that, like, I'm like, I don't even know if anybody needs to receive anything that I'm saying, because really it's just for me.
So thank you for showing up and letting me tell you what to do, because now I'm going to go do that.
Right.
I know. And I think we do that so much with our children, you know, in beautiful ways, in terrible ways and in beautiful ways, right? We're screaming at them to shut up, and really, like, we should shut up. We're telling them to listen, and really, we should be listening.
Yes.
Like, they become these little vessels of all the stuff we want to throw at them, and then they just reflect it back. And sometimes it's so gentle and nice, and other times, failed.
My daughter legit told me last night, I think instead of asking us to do something different, you need to work on yourself.
She did. Well, there you go.
I was like, yeah, I think you're right. Thanks for that.
So last week, you know, I had all the technological, I can't even say it, difficulties with last week's thing. I was so frustrated, so mad. I'd spent the whole day on the computer. So I get done with the call, and I go upstairs, and I sit down on the couch. And I was like, like, it never works. It never works. And so my poor son, who's the only one at home besides my dog, comes upstairs. And I'd been, like, yelling at him before the call. I'm like, don't bother me. I've got this. Right? I mean, and then we arrive on these calls all zen and feeling good, because we've just vented all over our children. So he comes upstairs, and he sits down next to me on the couch. And he kind of looks at me, and he puts his arm around me, because he's bigger than me now. He's 14. He's taller than me. He puts his arm around me. He's like, come on, Mom. What do you need? And I was just like, oh, baby. Right? So I did. I was like, I'm telling him about all the terrible things that happened all day, which were nothing. They were nothing. So he literally says to me, it's okay. It's all right. Everything's fine. And I turned to him at one point. I was like, are you parenting me? He's like, you need it right now.
Oh, yes. It's so sweet.
It's so sweet. It's so sweet. And also, like, how much courage it takes on the part of a parent to, like, trust that your kids are wise, you know, to really believe that and see them as wise, and then allow them to flourish, you know, because, yeah, he didn't want to listen to me vent, but he also feels needed now, and he feels like he has this, because he said that in the last week. Remember when I helped you? Last week when I saved you? I'm like, you did.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I love that your daughter gave you the smackdown like I got from my son. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You want to talk about the 12-12 gateway? Do you have any? Right?
I don't have anything. No, let me mind.
Okay, so tune into it for a sec. Why not? Because we're going to play.
Okay, so what's been happening for me, and I think this is probably bigger. It has to be bigger. It has to be tied to everything. Okay, just make that clear. Is more around, like, rooting all the way in. For me, it's like womb stuff, womb work. Lots have been moving for me of, like, working with the Magdalene archetype, priestessing, temple space, our bodies as our temple, our room as our temple, our home as our temple, going into service, aligned service that then feels like play, and also it's service, and then all the little pieces come together, like that kind of thing. Just that.
All right, rewind. Rewind, because that was beautiful. So go back to, do you want to start with the body as the temple?
Yes. The body as the temple. Yes. And what I feel is true of this is like, my initial thoughts have been, oh, the body's temple, let me make it pure as possible. And then I can get kind of neurotic with that, you know, like, purity, like, you know, and it comes back to this like humanness, and to honor the humanness of my body and the humanness of the time and space that I've incarnated into. You know, so like I may eat like raw and vegan and smoothies, and then I may like then I have thoughts like, you know what, one day ramen is going to be a thing of the past. Like, I want to enjoy some ramen noodles.
Which are so high sodium, so bad.
Since like ramen, and you know, it's just like the same thing of, you know, like I don't want to get so pure that I can't like eat what food that people are offering me.
Yes.
You know, I get sick, or I become super sensitive, or so a lot for me has been this balance with my digestive system, with my nervous system, with everything, of wanting to have solitude, but not wanting to spend so much time in solitude and peace that then when I'm around like people and society and children, and that I get like, you know, tweaked out. So I'm like trying to find this balance of how to care for my body and allow my nervous system to heal, you know, like to heal from trauma, to heal from grief, from all what reality has been, and to still come out and interact with people in the real world and not go into escape, you know?
Yes.
So
just to validate that, I have my tea infusion, which is like miracle juice, right? Love it. And my daughter just brought home a Chick-fil-A chocolate milkshake with peppermint cane in it.
Oh my God. You were talking about that last week, and I totally went to Chick-fil-A and looked for it. They don't have them here.
Oh, it's the best.
I've never heard of. I've got to go see what that is. I know she was saying like that's not the best thing to do all the time, but I've got to find it.
It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, she brought one home, so it's in the freezer for when I'm done. I'm like, there's a balance, right? It's like, yes, we're going to take care of our bodies, and there's minerals in there that my body needs, and I'm allowed to just play. And you know, I believe like the human body is designed to adjust as we need it to. And so, yeah, you may have a sugar rush, and you may have a headache because you had too much sugar, or, you know, so then you don't want it as often. But the denying, I think, feels kind of silly sometimes, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or guilting while you're doing something anyway.
Yeah. Go all the way in. If you're going to do it, just do it. Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Sticking with the body as a temple, because I know we started on 1212 Gateway, but body as a temple is really important. What I've been finding too is because the energies are shifting so much on our planet, which ties to the 1212 Gateway, it's like everything changes so very quickly, you know, like we were just saying, you wake up in the morning, you feel bad, and then later you feel like you're on cloud 9. And I feel like food is the same way, you know. In the morning, I just trust, you know, what does my body want, and follow what the cravings are. And sometimes it's solid food, sometimes it's soups and teas and liquids, and it's like, it's so nuanced now. It shifts so quickly, and so tuning into our body allows us to keep up with what the body needs to calibrate to. Did I say that well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You want to add to that?
Well, I would say sometimes not eating too.
Yeah. I don't do that. I never do that.
It's been an interesting thing for me to explore, because for me, when I was really young, you know, I started popping ephedrine pills when I was like 13 or 14. So skipping meals has been a kind of like, oh, you don't do that. That's not healthy. That's not okay. But what I've found is that there's actually times where it feels very natural, where if I'm in deep meditation or I'm deep in my flow of stuff to where I've got a lot of downloads coming, a lot of stuff moving, to not then eat. It feels very natural. And I used to get scared, like, you're not taking care of your body, or are you trying to starve yourself, or are you doing something like destructive? Like, is that unhealthy? You know, like, don't go into some bad pattern, you know, like, but it feels really natural to me at times. And it's not anything that I can even say, oh, I do it every day or every third day. It's not that. It's just this. Sometimes I'm in this thing where there's no food required for a time. So
yes,
with that,
yeah. And I do believe the body will tell you, like, if you're needing something, it's going to get your attention until you get it what it needs, right? So if you're thirsty and you're dehydrated, you're not going to be able to speak at some point because your body is like, get me more liquids. Yeah, I preach muscle testing like all the time. And I teach it in a way that it empowers people, right? So if you know, like, I have videos, but muscle testing is where you press with a finger against the other finger, and a truth is hold steady, and a no or a false is where your finger drops. You can also do it standing up, and your body leans forward when it's true, it leans backward when it's false. If you're saying something as a statement, you know this, we've played with this before. But when you're in doubt in your mind, right? Like, your mind is saying, this is what we were taught, this is what we're supposed to do, or this is what my family is telling me, or my teachers are telling me, or the doctors are telling me, and I need to do what I'm told. When you can trust the signals that your body is giving you, when you know that your body is telling a truth and you're holding that, you start to make different choices. You start to really, hi, gorgeous. You start to navigate differently, and then you really are following the body. You know? Do you use muscle testing? Sorry, putting you on the spot.
No, I don't. I've played with it again more recently, and I haven't made a habit of it. What I come back to is where I've been surrounded is by people that doubt or question everything, and then I doubt and question. You know, like this, like doubting all the time. So when I'm in doubting and I would want a muscle test would be a good time, I doubt the muscle testing. Like, am I just leaning it towards what I want, or like, did I make that happen? It's like, it just feeds more doubt. So, like, it's not part of that. Or I think, like, if I do something that I'm like, so-and-so would say that it wasn't real. Like, you know? So it muscle testing for me ends up, it feeds my doubt more. And you know, I know that comes back to some not trusting myself, or places that I feel like I've made mistakes, or, you know, those sort of things.
So how do you trust what's needed for your food and your diet? I'm curious.
How do I trust what's needed for my food and my diet? Well, there's been a lot of times, I used to be very, very regimented. Part of what my path has been is to pull me away from that being very regimented. This has happened in a million different ways, but of times where I've had to depend on other people for food, not being able to, like, my connection with food and money, and buying things that were either really pure, really healthy, but spending a lot of money on food, or spending my money on milkshakes or whatever. It's been so connected to that. And then also, I feel like where I was very rigid and health, and things had to be eaten this way, and wouldn't let my kids eat anything else, and was following them around and getting on to grandma about what she was feeding the kids, you know. I feel like it's one of the areas that I've had to be humbled in.
It's such a powerful word.
Yeah. And receiving what is available to me and what's in front of me, and what's given to me. Yeah.
No, that's just it's a powerful word. It's not, to me, humbling is a powerful word. It's like, I am willing to surrender and surrender and surrender, and then I'm going to find the grace and the learning in that.
Yeah.
And it takes strength to say I've been humbled. I mean, it really does. I've been humbled. As my friends would say, give me an amen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting. While you were talking, I just, you know how sometimes you're just like, oh, that's where we're going. We're doing it this way. Yeah. So I'll give you a little teaser where I feel like the spiral is spiraling towards is the belief that what we put into our bodies, like what comes into our bodies, actually serves us. And so it really doesn't matter what it is that we're putting in. It's the intention with which we receive it. And then the way that our bodies actually align with that, right? Which to me feels like this is part of the activation of the 12-12 gateway. It's like I receive with intention, I process with intention, I release with intention. And so my physical body is becoming aligned with existence, right? With absolute existence, with everyone being one field of energy. And yeah. Ah! My body's like, that's what we need to say. Okay, so I feel like I need a little backstory. Is that okay?
Yeah.
You want to say anything first?
No, no.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to switch to speaker for a second. Hang on, because I don't know if it's doing it here. I'm not so great with this thing yet. I'll figure it out. Whatever. Whatever. It's going to work. We'll do gallery view. We'll do it that way. Okay. It has me as a little thing right at the top of your head. It was like I was sitting on your crown. I love it. I have to laugh at technology sometimes. I'm like, really? So cute. Okay, so we're going to backtrack for a second. There is a person, a doctor, a Japanese doctor, Dr. Emoto, who did a ton of research that, I keep looking there and look at the camera. He's passed away now, and he did this incredible amount of research where he looked at water, you know, the quality of water. And his belief was that every drop of water has energy held within it. Also food does. So he called that energy that's held Hado, H-A-D-O. It's a Japanese word. And he described how if you take samples of water from anywhere, and he went around the world and traveled and gathered these samples of water, and he would take them and he would freeze them. And his theory was, it doesn't matter where the water is from, what the quality of the water is. When you when you freeze the water and then you I have it backwards, maybe you speak it and then you freeze it. You speak words of positive energy around the water, and then you freeze it, and then you see the crystals that it forms. And then you speak in a different group of waters. You speak words that are harmful and hateful and negative, and then you freeze those. And he has these images, like thousands of these images, where the water molecules that were frozen with the positive words are these incredible crystals. They look like snowflakes, you know, when you see the snowflake and it's like this perfect pattern. And the ones that were spoken with the hateful words, the, you know, negative and beating somebody down, those energies went into the water. And so they were murky and like they just looked, there was no shape or pattern to them. And so he wrote these beautiful books, which I talk about often. And he shows the descriptions, the differences between the water molecules. And then he also describes, like, in the universe, in our planet, Earth, you know, water is this resource that actually connects every ocean to every river, to every tap, to every human, to every animal, to every plant. You know, water is the energy of life that is keeping this planet functioning. And so as we bring water into our bodies, if we bring it in with, you know, like disgust or irritation, or I don't trust it, or it's bad water, or it's not good for me, or it's going to hurt me, you know, that water carries that energy. And when you bring it into your body, that's the energy that's moving through your body. Same with food, right? That food's going to hurt me. It's going to be bad for me. It's going to give me allergies. It's going to make my stomach upset. Well, guess what? Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to do, right? Versus, you know, humbly being grateful. Like, I am in gratitude for this food that is going to nourish my body, that is going to feed my organs and my tissues and my muscle. And like, as she's feeding, I love the universe and the way it always works. But it's like, as I nourish, right? As you're nourishing a baby, like as I nourish my body and I believe that what I bring in serves my body, then my body is able to use that as more positive energy. And so how we receive, the intention with which we receive, changes the way that our body functions. Yeah. Right? Go ahead. You want to say something?
Well, just I know that to be true. I know it to be true. And I think that I've witnessed people, communities where people that with tap water that are like, good enough, or it'll be fine, you know, versus people that are, and I say this with love because I have been that person, neurotic about what they put in their bodies, tend to have more health issues and more sensitivities and allergies and all of that, you know. And I know sometimes people can come that direction by trying to heal things, and that's completely valid. You know, I believe that there is a cleaning out and a purging that can be really powerful in a healing crisis. But to try and maintain life at that level of purity, it's the same as our spiritual awakenings, you know, like you can have this like moments of like enlightened purity, but trying to grasp onto that so tightly creates all this other, it's an imbalance.
Yes. Resistance.
Yes.
It creates resistance. Yeah. I remember when I saw my acupuncturist, I have two because I'm blessed. One is in New York and one is here in Cincinnati. And the one in Cincinnati, I remember when I saw her, it was maybe my second time, and I was laying on the bed and my eye was like, seriously, it was like twitching so fast, my left eye, and she's got needles all over and she's standing at my feet, and I was like, what's happening? What's going on? And she said, because I could feel the spasm, you know, like you're talking about the imbalance. And I said, what's going on with my eye? And she said, anytime the muscle is spasming or tensing or clutching or gripping, she said, it's a sign that you're resisting the flow. She's like, so what wants to flow through you? There's energy that is sitting here that is wanting to flow through because I'm at your feet pulling your energy down. And she's like, so can you just relax and go with the flow? And as soon as she said that, I was like, right? Because when you're aware, and I've noticed my eye twitching this week too, it's like when you're aware of the resistance and you just relax, the energy can start to move again. Right? Yeah. And it's exactly what you're saying. Like when you're gripping so hard to, I have to follow the rules, I have to be vegan, and there's nothing wrong with being vegan, right? I think you and I both are like, honor whatever everybody wants. Like do what feels right to your body, and your body may love being vegan and it's perfect.
Well, I think it comes back to like seasonal, you know, like these cycles and seasons, you know, and really tapping into that. I think of being a woman and how it's a little easier for us to tap into our cycles and rhythms. But men have the same hormonal cycles as well, you know, it's not as obvious, but that exists as well. It's in nature, you know, like learning to live in rhythm and in flow and seasons and, you know, structure and flow, both, you know? Yes.
Yeah. Well, to me, it feels like the physical, right? Learning to live. I do. She's like, I love being part of the party. You guys, like, don't leave me out. Yeah, it's this blend. It's like I'm physical. I'm a physical being, and I am absolute energy, consciousness that is figuring out how to navigate in this physical limitations. And sometimes the resistance is the energy is moving so quickly and the physical body is like, what are you doing? Right? That's usually when I get sick. It's when I know something is expanding or wanting to be birthed or created, and I'm pushing so hard energetically because I see what it is I want and I know where I'm going. I know how we're going to do it. It's all clear in my head. Like, what's the problem? And the body's like, oh.
Well, I feel like that going up into your head and imagining and seeing what it all looks like, that's when you're leaving your body. For me, you know, like that's exactly when I'm leaving my body is when I'm saying how it's going to all happen. Otherwise, it's coming to me. It's like coming down to me when I have to go up to like, okay, how am I going to make this work? What's it going to look like? And this is how it's got to be. Like, that's when like, and for me, I end up having like, I can feel in my low back, where my low back will feel like, oh, you're pulling up and out. My eyes get real big. people take pictures and they're like, you look a little manic. That's me getting way up here.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, one of the ways, because I love when we talk about ways to bridge things, you know, one of the ways I found to bridge it is, and my friend Teresa told me this, she's like, you need a notebook, one notebook, and you write all your thoughts and ideas in the one notebook. And then you don't have like 50 Post-it notes and 20 places that you're going to track and look at stuff. And it has been profound to do that, because I can have all these ideas, like you're saying, and then I just write them down. And as I get to it, I'm highlighting off what I get done. And then there's that knowing like, oh, I did something. It's highlighted.
I feel that for sure. I feel like a notebook, carrying around a notebook and writing things down and taking them out from here and like, okay, what's the best in here right now that I want to say, like, I am this, or I am doing this, or this is what I'm committed to, you know, and you're like, let me. And there's usually a theme, you know, there's usually a theme that all the things that are floating around that seem like, oh, it's everywhere.
It's all connected.
It is really, it really is. And then putting it on there, it's like seeing how it unfolds in the rest of my day or my life, or all these other pieces start coming in as soon as I wrote it on paper.
I know.
It's like magic.
It was so simple, right?
Right.
Yeah. See, we have all this wisdom to share with people. If they would just listen to us, their lives would be fine. Like, what's the problem? All right. So let's go back to the water thing for a second. Because it does feel important. It does feel important for what's happening on our planet. And I would love your reflections about this. For me, I've had this awareness that, you know, water is our most precious resource, and it's abundant. There's plenty of water on our planet. There's plenty of water within humans. And so can we start being more conscious about how we're engaging with the water? Because the water that, you know, we're going to drink is coming from the oceans, and then we're going to urinate it out and it's going to go be recycled with some other water and some chemicals, and then eventually it's going to go back out to the oceans. And so it all is like circling through the same, it's all circling through all of us and through the planet, right? Like there's no new water coming into the planet. There's no trucks. I shouldn't laugh because this is really a serious situation, but my aunt lives in Cape Town and they are at a severe shortage of water. And when she was just visiting us, she said, you know, there is the likelihood that they might have to truck water into us as a city because we're so short on water, and the salt plants can't keep up with the shifting of the salt water, the ocean water. She's like, we may literally have to go to trucks to get our water for our food and our drinking and our toilets. And it's a very serious thing. When you think of the planet's abundance, though, you know, there's no water trucks that are going to bring water to Earth. Like, we have what we need here in this Earth. And as we balance it, as we help conserve the climate and take care of it, the water is just going to regenerate through all of the different places around the planet, including all of the humans. So what if each of us individually starts to take this ownership? Like, I am consciously going to honor the water that comes into my body. I'm going to receive it and be grateful for it. And I'm going to set the intention that as I bring the water into my body, it's blessing my body. It's blessing everybody that I touch, that I meet. It's changing the strength of my organs. It's shifting and releasing toxic energy from my body. You know, so as I receive it and I have an intentional prayer, I'm shifting the quality of the water coming in. And then I have releasing prayers at the bathrooms throughout my house, you know, on the wall. And it says, I release all toxicity. So when I go to the bathroom and I pee, like, I am releasing the toxicity of energy out of my body. And so I'm consciously I am like, the way I've been seeing it is, as a human, I am a plant, not like chemical plant. You know how what do they call this? Like waste management plant. I am a waste management plant. This body, known as Vivian. That's hysterically funny. But it's true. So, right, so as I receive the water in and I bless it, and my body is strong and healthy and meditating and calm and joyful, and I change the water quality in my body, and then I'm releasing it without like hatred, like with reverence and with like, release this and let it be purified in the earth. You know, if everyone starts doing that, every molecule of water on the planet can literally be vibrated up, changed, received. Yeah.
Absolutely. I just keep thinking of all the times how much in contact I am with water throughout the day, where even just besides what I'm drinking, I guess normally when I think of be more conscious about your water, and I know we have kind of talked about this before, but I think of, oh, there's not enough, or let me not let too much water go down the sink, or,
Yes.
you know, like more in this sort of like, oh, don't waste it. But to think even of, you know, I've got boiling water that I'm done with and pouring it down the sink and blessing that as it goes down, you know, using that in all, you know, in the shower and everywhere, you know.
That's right, girl. Hello.
She likes to be on camera.
Of course she does. She's like, do you see me? I have things to say too. When she was here, I remember we were all like, don't look into Jupiter's eyes directly unless you want to be changed. Like, she's sending messages. she's loving through her eyes because we all could feel her. Yeah. What is she chewing on?
It's a cord. It's not plugged into anything.
Bless the cord. Hi, baby. Oh, she's so sweet. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's not approaching it from a place of lack. There is an abundance of water, and I receive it with love and gratitude, and I release it with love and gratitude, and I know there's more coming in. Right?
Yes.
And then the physical body is healing. The water that is a resource on our planet is healing. We're sending that vibration out to everyone around us. I know. Jupiter, this is how we change the world. Like, if we could just get people to understand that, it would be fine.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think too, it's one of those things that you can make these little rituals that are so personal and so in the way that just feels like this is a representation of who I am, or what part of life I'm in, or something that's really meaningful to me, you know, like to personalize it all. What comes to mind is a book I read several years ago. I think I was telling you about it recently. The Bringing Cedars series about Anastasia, and what she talks about is having a healing garden, and to put she sucks on the seeds before she plants them. But the same thing of like collecting urine to put in there. Using you could even use your moon's blood to put in the garden. You're putting all your information, your genetic information, your health information into the ground where these vegetables will grow specifically for you and your needs.
Yeah. Yes.
So depending on where people are at or what's going on in their life, or I don't know, there's just so many ways to play with it. There's so many
That's
ways.
like muscle testing times 10. Right? It's like, not only am I muscle testing, like I'm going to grow the plants that are going to come back into my body by trusting the cycles that I'm following. That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. Okay. So let's just recap real fast. We're going to change the quality of the water by becoming waste management plants. Yeah, and then just tying it back to the 12-12 gateway. Do you have any reflections you want to offer?
I think it comes back to, like living life as a practice of a sacred practice of rituals, and it's that balance between flow and structure, and seeing our body as our temple, our homes as our temple, our everyday life as our practice.
I just love you. I'm so glad you came on the call today. I mean, it would have been fine by myself, but how boring. Way more fun with you and Jupiter.
Perfect.
All right, I'm going to switch back. I'm going to have a couple quick thoughts, and then we're going to end with Alicia, which is like so fun. So fun. Okay, let's see if I can do this. Hold on. All right. Speaker. It really loves you. It keeps putting you the front. I don't know. I'm just going to leave it like it is. It's too much work. Okay, so the 12-12 gateway. Yeah, what would I like to wrap up with that? So to me, it keeps coming back to fear versus love, and this is a shift, a consciousness shift that I believe is happening on our planet. To me, it feels like it started in October, like really significantly, this deep revealing of the wounds, and then shedding, shedding of all the old layers, and 11/11, and now here we are, 12/12, and I feel like it's going to ride us gently into the new year. And to me, it's so much about, the mass density of the world, the third dimensional energy that most humans are functioning in is very fear-based. There's lack, there's news reports that are constantly feeding the fear. Everything is negative, and it's only going to be more negative. And, we can buy into that, and many do, and there's lessons in that. Or we can continuously come back to our own center and, sit in this stillness and feel that infinite existence, that knowing, like I know I'm love. I know everyone else is love. I know we are all connected as love. And so when we can, even if we touch that for a minute, when we come back and we feel that, and then we live that, like Rachel was saying, if it's our sacred practice to constantly just be coming back into center, and then sharing more love and being more love, and, making choices of love over fear, it becomes this wave of energy, this rippling out into communities, and then into cities, and then into countries. And, at some point, not very far away, I believe love will win over fear, and it will be unanimous. Those that don't want to sit in the vibration of love are going to find ways where they're not in alignment with that, and the bodies get ill and they get sick, and they find other forms to take in the physical, or non-physical, because love is going to be the vibration, the truth, the more common resonance at some point on our planet. Fear is going to leave. And if we, in every moment, as often as possible, can just come back to love, and back to love, and back to love, and more love, it's going to be how we function. And then it's magic. Then it's pure bliss. Pure bliss. So to guide us in that, we are, of course, this is so perfect. Let me share screen, and you're going to see me make a couple changes here on the computer. So there is a song that I put at the bottom. This one here. I had this at the bottom of my website page where I talk about soul stories, this Om Shri Lakshmi. And the version that I like, which Alicia has two versions. One is with children singing along, and then the other is this one that is just so beautiful. But it talks about how the children, when we bring them food and water and love, like, we heal the planet. And it's so perfect that Jupiter was here. Like, it just couldn't have been more perfect, because that was already what I wanted to end with. So I say thank you, Rachel and Jupiter. Thank you, Alicia, again, for your sound, your beautiful sound. And yeah, let's hold this close, this gentle gateway of 12/12, and all that it's teaching us about our body and connection. All right.
Om Shri Lakshmi, Om Shri Om.
So much love to you.